I was going to say good morning, but it's not morning, it's afternoon. So I'm going to wait just a minute and let some of you join me. I appreciate your patience with me today. I had 2 of my 6 grandbabies spend the night. They're not babies anymore. One is 15 and one is 11, but they spent the night with me last night, and I've been running with them all day. So I'm worn out already. Man, they still have so much more energy, but they're a blast. Good afternoon, Papa James and Nana Shirley. How are you? As you can tell, I am makeup free, bad hair day. I've been doing laundry and running grandkids around town all day. So, and I did my Couch to 5K day 1. So after this, I'm going to go wash my hair, wash my face, put on a mask, finish laundry before my husband gets home, and have dinner ready when he gets here. Yeah, it is a nice change for the afternoon. I may try to switch it up back and forth because I know, not everybody can do it in the mornings and not everybody can do it in the afternoon. So maybe we'll alternate or something. We'll see what y'all think about that. Hope you're doing well. Somebody asked me how retirement is so far, and I have to tell you, this is my today starts my 3rd week of retirement, and I have not had a single day of staying home and doing nothing. Not a day. I don't know, is it always going to be like this? Because if it is, I may have to go back to work just to get some rest. I'm worn out. My husband and I are going out of town Thursday morning. We're leaving here about 6:30 and driving out of town. So that'll at least be relaxing, just, being in the car. We're going to Branson, Missouri to a praise fest for 3 days. And I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be fun to get away. Okay, my chat over here isn't keeping up, I don't think. Let's see. Maybe it is. I don't know. I can't tell which direction it's going. Okay, let's get started. I told you I was going to talk today about binge eating, my thoughts on it. I want to preface this by telling you, as always, and you all know this, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not in the medical profession. I am not a counselor. I'm just one of you. And all I do on here on Mondays is share with you my heart, my journey, what I've learned works for me, what I've learned that didn't work for me, and then hopefully some encouragement for you. Sometimes that encouragement comes a little bit in the form of tough love, but Lord knows I needed tough love along the way and still do at times. But, I don't think any of you are unique. I don't think any of you are going through a leg of the journey that many of us, if not all of us, haven't been down at one time or another. Some of us more times than one. But someone asked me when I said that I was going to discuss binge eating, they asked me to make sure and clarify the difference between binge eating and overeating. So I looked it up because you know how much I love definitions, and I was surprised by this. But the Webster's definition of binge eating is to indulge to excess. It kind of sounds like a lot of my overeating. I think the binge part for me came in the form of it started with eating, progressed to overeating, and then a little bit more than overeating. And oftentimes the binge eating for me was when it made absolutely no sense. And I've shared this with a couple of folks before, but I'll share it with you too, just so you'll know that it's not just you. I've had moments where more times than I care to admit, where I ate more than even made sense. And I did it in secret, and I did it with shame. For instance, I have very vivid memories of two moments. There were many more than this, but there were two that I very, very vividly recall. One was I told my husband that I had a rough day at work, so I was going to go buy Chick-fil-A on the way home and pick up dinner. Was that okay? And he said, sure, absolutely. Well, Chick-fil-A is kind of healthy for the most part. You know, we would get a salad, or we would get a grilled chicken sandwich and the potatoes, because, you know, potatoes were okay as long as I counted them. And then when I was being really strict on Weight Watchers, I would tell the people that I didn't want a whole order of potatoes, but could I just have one, and thought I was really doing good. And I was doing better, except on this one particular occasion, I knew that it was going to be another hour at least before he got home from work, and I wasn't sure that I could wait. Actually, I wasn't sure I wanted to wait an hour to eat. So I drove through Chick-fil-A, and I got our grilled chicken sandwiches, I believe, that night, and I got waffle fries for him, and I went ahead and got waffle fries for me because I deserved them, because I'd been good so far that day, not that week, that day. I also got one of the Chick-fil-A cookies, and I told myself that I would save it until after dinner that night, and we would split it, and I would give him 3/4 of it, and I would just have a little bite of it. After I left Chick-fil-A, though, like I said, I knew it was going to be a while before dinner, so I drove through Jack in the Box. I was just going to get one taco, and I was going to track it. Well, the tacos were 59 cents a piece, or 2 for $1. So the guy at the register very politely told me it would be cheaper to get 2 of them. So I got 2 of them, and I ate them on the way home. And then I threw the wrapper away outside in the trash can because I didn't want my husband to see it in the trash can and wonder, where did those come from? Not that he ever said anything about my weight or what I ate. He was always super, super supportive and would always tell me, honey, I love you just the way you are. But I was ashamed of it. So I threw the wrappers away in the outside trash can. And then I was so mad at myself for doing it, and I felt so bad about doing it, that I got the cookie out of the Chick-fil-A bag and I ate the whole thing. And then I took that wrapper outside and I threw it away. And I didn't tell him about the cookie, and I didn't tell him about the tacos. So by the time we sat down to eat our healthy grilled chicken sandwiches, I had already eaten way more calories than I probably should have had in close to a day. That was one day. Another day, I'd had a really bad day at work. Went by the grocery store to get stuff to fix for dinner. Was waiting in line to check out, and I needed something sweet. That's what I told myself. So I looked over at the counter, and I was checking out all the candy. M&Ms, they have peanuts in them. That's protein. That's probably better than Reese's peanut butter cup. So actually, I'm making a smart decision by getting the M&Ms, right? But they were buy 2, get 1 free. And I really wanted the Reese's peanut butter cup. So I bought 2 bags of M&Ms and 1 package of Reese's. And I thought, I'll eat 1 today, and I'll save 1 for next week, and I'll save 1 for the next week. And I ate all 3 of them on the way home. And I threw the paper away outside. So see, it's not just you. Most of us have done moments like that when our eating was just totally out of control. There was no making sense of it. There was no reason for it. It wasn't that I was hungry. It wasn't even that it was in the house. So while I could easily tell you don't have those things in the house, sometimes that doesn't matter. I was talking with one of my friends the other day, and she said, I'll get in the car and go get it. That doesn't matter. I know, I've been there. But here's some suggestions. I want to share these 4 suggestions with you, and then I want to tell you where I got them. One is when you feel an overeating or a binge episode coming on, these are 4 things that you can do to help. One is reduce stress. Figure out what is it that's getting you so worked up, and try to eliminate that. Sometimes that's easier said than done, right? Okay. Redirect. If it's something that you're focused on, like there's a, candy at the register, walk away. Go to a different register. Don't do the self-checkout where nobody sees you put that, those 3 bars of candy in your sack. Break the, it's like when you're trying to house train a puppy. When it looks like they're about to potty in the house, you snap in front of them or tap their nose or something to kind of snap them out of it. Redirect. Get your attention off of what it is you're about to do, you're about to eat. The other is change your environment. Go for a walk. Step outside. Change rooms in the house. Do something, but get out of that space where that binge is about to take place. The 4th one is reach out. Talk to someone. Involve somebody else in that moment. Don't stand there by yourself. Don't stay in the house by yourself or in the car by yourself or wherever you are, but reach out to someone and say, okay, I'm in a bad place. I'm about to go eat whatever, and get somebody involved. All of those sound good, right? You want to know where I got those from? This is going to sound crazy, but just hear me out. Those are the most commonly suggested ways to deal with a child having a tantrum. Ouch. Well, I got to tell you, some of my binge moments were probably very similar to a child having a tantrum. Either I was mad, or somebody had hurt my feelings, or I wasn't getting my way about something. Maybe the scale made me mad. Maybe the scale hurt my feelings. Maybe, a friend bailed on me for lunch. Didn't matter. It could have been big. It could have been little. But it all threw me into a tailspin. And that's what my tantrum often resulted in, was me saying, well, phooey, then I'm just going to eat whatever I want to eat. But I know it's not the right thing to do, so I'm going to hide the evidence. So if binge eating is indulging to excess, what is overeating? I think they're the same thing, maybe just one is a continuation of the other. Again, I'm not a counselor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an eating disorder specialist. I fully get that there is an eating disorder that involves binging. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about a diagnosed eating disorder. I'm talking about our eating tantrums that we really need to get under control before it becomes something that we can no longer control. You ever seen a child, please don't send me ugly messages on this. I love children. I adore children. I would die for my grandchildren. I don't believe in abusing children. This is not what I'm saying, so don't get all bent out of shape. But have you ever seen a child in a restaurant or a grocery store or convenience store, department store or something that's just throwing a fit? And if you're honest, maybe for just a minute you thought to yourself, probably didn't say it out loud, but to yourself thought, you know, if you would just deal with that instead of ignoring it, it probably wouldn't happen quite as often or not be as bad. And yet we don't deal with it ourselves. We pretend it didn't happen. We ignore it. And guess what? It happens again and again and again. So here's some real suggestions. Although I think the 4 that the experts gave us on temper tantrums is pretty good. Here's some that I think help me. One is I don't have the food around. If it's here, it's easier to access. Chances are I'm not going to get in the car and go get it. Not going to say never, but chances are if it's not here, I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to overeat it. I'm certainly not going to binge on it if I don't have it. So whatever your trigger foods are, and most of us have them, I would probably think I'm safe in saying that for most of us, we binge on carbohydrates. I don't recall anybody ever telling me that they overdid it on protein or good healthy fats. I think for most of us it's carbohydrates. So if we don't have those around, that's the first step in helping. Number 2, stop lying. Stop hiding the evidence. Stop pretending it didn't happen. Even stop lying to yourself about it. If you eat it, track it. Whether it's on your Weight Watchers tracker or your iTrack guides or your paper journal or whatever, write it down. Own up to it. Stop pretending you didn't eat it because your body is going to prove otherwise when you step on the scale in a few days. Number 3, I love this when I saw this the other day. Stop giving yourself treats. You're not a dog. We don't need treats. We're grown-ups. I'm not talking about a dessert for a birthday or an anniversary or Christmas. I'm talking about I had a rough day, I deserve a treat. How's that going to change your rough day? It's not. Trust me. Eating a giant bag of Lay's potato chips is not going to make the fact that you had a really hard day at work any less hard. All it does, and we all know this, sorry, the sun is affecting that. All that does is adds regret and shame to our already stressed out self. So stop treating myself. I'm not a dog. I like that. I need a t-shirt that says that maybe. No more treats. I'm not a dog. How about this one? No, you don't need it. You don't need the chocolate bar. You don't need the ice cream. You don't need the extra piece of pie or whatever it was. You don't even need the non-fat yogurt with PB2 in it. If you're eating it because you're hungry, that's one thing. If you're eating it because you're stressed out and you feel like that's going to help, it won't. It won't. I promise it won't. All that does is dig you a little bit deeper into that addiction to medicating ourselves with food. We can't treat our emotions with food and expect the emotions to change. They just don't. How about this? How many of you have gotten stressed out at night and decided, I'm going to go for an ice cream? Did it make you feel better? Maybe in the moment. How about the next morning when you woke up? How about when you stepped on the scale 3 days later and you were up a little bit? Was the ice cream worth it? Probably not. Food doesn't fix it. You have a relative that's really sick. You're the caretaker. You're driving back and forth to the hospital. You've got an illness yourself that's got you stressed out. Food won't fix it. It never does. Has it before? I doubt it. It won't this time either. Here's the last one. Your situation is never going to get better because of something you ate. You may be stressed out over finances. You may be stressed out over your job. Your spouse may be driving you crazy. You may have a child, whether adult or not, that has, behavior that is just making you so crazy you don't know what to do. Life may have thrown you a huge curveball. The solution isn't in your food, except to make good, healthy choices, because we know, we've done this long enough to know, none of us are new to this. We've done this long enough to know that the healthier our body is, the wiser our choices are. The wiser the way we respond to those situations. The easier it is for you to be the caretaker when you're healthier. You move easier. You don't get winded. You think more clearly. It's easier for you to get a good night's sleep at night, so you're awake, alert, able to respond to the day ahead of you. You're not fighting your own illnesses. All of those come from making good, healthy choices. But the opposite is true when we eat poorly. We don't sleep good. We have indigestion. Our joints ache. We have inflammation. Sometimes we have diabetes, heart disease. All of those things are either caused by or exacerbated by our eating habits. So how is a stressful situation that you can't control going to be aided by you making bad decisions? They're not. So binge eating, while it's an incredibly difficult thing to stop, here's how you stop it. You just say no. I wish there was an easy way to tell you. I wish there was a magic pill that I could give you and people ask repeatedly, how do I stop overeating? How do I stop making bad choices? If I had an easy answer for that, I'd put Weight Watchers out of business. I'd sell my own book and I would sell you the magic pill and be a billionaire, but there isn't one. What it really and truly boils down to is you being an adult. Get up out of the floor. Stop throwing a tantrum. And I'm saying that with all the love in my heart. And just say, nope, not this time. I'm not turning to food because it's not going to change it. So here's my quote I want to leave you with this week. And it says, you will never always be motivated. You have to learn to be disciplined. If you're waiting until you're motivated to make good choices, it's going to be a long wait because that motivation isn't there every day. But discipline is something that you can develop. And the more disciplined you are, the easier it is to tell yourself, not today. I know that's tough love. I know it's hard to hear. And it's especially hard to hear when you're really, really feeling like you're at rock bottom. But the solution to your health lies in your level of resolve. I can't give it to you. Weight Watchers can't give it to you. Jenny Craig can't give it to you. The health food store can't sell it to you. It really boils down to just you. How badly do you want to live? And what kind of life do you want to have? You're worth it. I tell you that every week. I believe it. I see it. The ones who love you believe it and see it. You just have to learn to believe it and see it and love yourself enough to say, you know what? I'm worth more than that bag of potato chips. I'm worth more than those 3 bags of M&Ms. Set a timer for your meal. And there's apps. There are free apps that you can download where you set a timer. I use one for my intermittent fasting, but you can use it for anything. Set the timer. I'm going to have dinner at 6 o'clock and nothing is going in my mouth after I eat lunch until that timer goes off at 6 o'clock. And then when you finish your supper, start the timer again and say, I'm not eating again until the timer goes off at my next meal. See, I think we've kind of gotten in the habit, and this started at childhood, where we think that we need 3 meals a day and 3 snacks. Really? Do we really? Are we really hungry? Because if you're eating for any reason other than you're hungry, you need to revisit why you're eating. Now, again, if there are medical reasons and your doctor has told you, then I'm never telling you to do something other than what your doctor tells you. But if this is just habit for you, which it was for me, that's a bad habit, and it's one I had to break. And once I broke that habit, then the overeating and the binging suddenly wasn't nearly as bad and not nearly as often as it used to be, because I took control of the food instead of the food taking control of me. So remember that you will never always be motivated. You have to learn to always be disciplined. And when you are disciplined, then you can give yourself permission on occasion to have a nice meal that involves a dessert, but you're still in control. You're making the call. Nobody's talking you into it. Nobody's shaming you into it, including you. You're in control. And when you say that's enough, push it away. That's enough. No more. Don't go back in the kitchen. Don't go in the car. Reach out to someone. All of the things we talked about. Don't have it around. Stop lying about it. Stop treating yourself. You're not a dog. You don't really need it. It's not going to fix anything. Those are my suggestions. Those are what worked for me, and I think they'll work for you if you try. Are you going to bat 100 every time? No, you're still going to have those moments, but the more you do it, the less often you'll have them. Now, having said that, I mentioned yesterday that I've been thinking about, and I don't, just hear me out on this, and it's not happening today. I'm still thinking about how it looks, but I'm always honest with y'all about what's going on in my head. Sometimes I even think, where did that come from? But I've talked to several of you recently who have a lot of weight to lose. And by that, I mean more than 50 pounds. And you don't have a support group. You either, for various reasons, can't go to a Weight Watchers meeting. You don't have a family support. You don't have that safety net that most of us have. If you have those things, if you're able to go to Weight Watchers meetings, and Weight Watchers has some amazing leaders, if you have that available to you, if your family is supportive, you have a good accountability partner. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about the people who don't have that. I'm considering, I do some private coaching on the side. I'm considering a small, very private, invitation only, sort of a subgroup of this group, but it would be probably no more than 6 at a time. And it would only involve folks who have more than 50 pounds, here's going to be the rules as I see it right now. More than 50 pounds to lose, not able to attend meetings for whatever reason, you're at rock bottom. You don't have anywhere else to go. You don't have a support group. And the only way I will agree to do it is if it is extremely vulnerable, extremely committed, and extremely faith-based, because I believe that's a huge part of my success, if you want to call it success. I couldn't do it without my faith. So I'm toying with that idea. If you think that applies to you, you're welcome to reach out to me by private message. Don't post it on here because I won't respond to it. You have to send me a private message. And once I figure it out, there would not be a charge. I'm not trying to compete with anybody. I'm just trying to help as many as I can. So as soon as I get the details worked out, I'll be in contact with those of you who did reach out to me, and I feel like you would be a good fit and maybe we could help. The t-shirts for the spring 5K are still available. There's a pinned post at the top of the Facebook group page for that. And like we did last year, you do your 5K or as many as you choose to over the spring and post a picture online showing us that you completed it. It was so much fun last year to see so many of you getting out doing that. Some folks ran, some folks rode their bikes, some folks walked, some did a combination. And after the winter that we've all had, and some of you are still having, I think we're all ready to get outside and do something. I think that's all the announcements I have. I started the Couch to 5K today. I've started it before and didn't finish it. I'm going to do my very best to finish it this time, and I think a couple of you have agreed to join in with me. So if you are, I'd love to stay in touch. My daughter's coming home from Scotland July 1st, and she's a runner, and so I would love to at least be able to go run 1 mile with her. So that's my goal, by the time she gets home, to be able to run a mile with her, as long as she'll run at my speed and not hers. I don't think she's a fast runner, but anyway. Okay, I'm going to look over here and see if I see any of your questions that I can answer real fast, and then I'll let you get on with your day. And let's see. This is not cooperating. It's not letting me see messages. I'll try to go back through them tonight while we're watching television and answer as many as I can. Please believe in yourself. If you don't, then let's figure out how to help you do that. There's no reason for you to go another day feeling like you're not worth saving, because you are. And there's no reason for you to go another day feeling like it works for everybody except you, because it doesn't. It's not magic for me. It's just, there's no secret to it. It's just finding it within yourself and standing up and doing it, whatever it is for you. And it may look different for several of us than it does for the majority of us, but it is all about finding our health. And so I so appreciate you spending the last 30 minutes with me, and I hope something helped. I hope something resonated with you. If I made you mad, I'm terribly sorry. That was never my intention. But if tough love is what's needed, then sorry. I hope you still love me. Anyway, I'm going to go finish my laundry before my husband gets home. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the board. Bye.